The smell of stale Newports and cheap cologne, the scent of his own sin, was what made Zaya gag, not the blood. She didn't look down at the body that had once been Deacon, a man who, an hour ago, was promising her a platinum future from the passenger seat of his pristine '74 Cutlass. Now, he was just wait. Zaya stood alone in the suffocating Houston heat behind an abandoned barbershop near the intersection of Alameda and Winburn, her chest heaving. The sheer, silent terror of the act was a thunderclap.
Damn it, hurry and subscribe to T Stories. Hurry the f*** up and subscribe!
Quiet dawn. She wiped the sweat from her temple with a wrist still bound by a rhinestone cuff, a twisted souvenir from the night. The cuff belonged to Deacon's wife. A fact Zaya found bitterly, tragically hilarious. A flash of movement made her jump, a dark, quick shadow cutting through the pre-dawn glow. "You still standing here, Zay?" Malik stepped out from the deep shade of a live oak, his eyes twin slits of judgment and exhaustion. He wore the uniform of the neighborhood, a fresh white tee and perfectly starched denim, looking too clean for the filth they were about to drown in. Malik was the only person she had called. Her rock, her confidant, and the source of every good and bad decision she'd ever made. He saw the glint of the brass knuckles in her hand before she could hide them. "I had to clean up my mess, Malik. You know how it is," Zaya whispered, her voice a dry rasp. "I know how it is, which is why you shouldn't have a mess this big. This ain't no street tussle, Zaya. This is a whole Deacon. This ain't third ward drama. This is a Houston Foundation problem," he said, his voice dropping to a dangerous baritone as he surveyed the scene. Deacon wasn't just a local pimp or hustler. He was a silent partner in 3 downtown clubs and rumored to have half the city council on his payroll. "Why? You said you was just going to take the package and split." Zaya stared at the discarded cuff, her jaw tightening. "He changed the deal. He said if I took the cash, I had to keep the secret. And the secret, it had to stay right where he put it." She didn't need to elaborate. The look Malik gave her, a mix of protective rage and sick realization, confirmed he understood the gritty, controlling violation that escalated a simple robbery into a homicide. Malik pinched the bridge of his nose, his custom braided hair glinting. "Look, we got less than 5 minutes before the sanitation trucks start rolling down Calhoun Road. We move him now, or we bury ourselves with him. Where's the package?" "It's not cash, Malik. It's better." She pulled a small, worn leather-bound journal from the waist of her jeans. It was stained, heavy, and looked insignificant, yet the cold dread in Malik's eyes told her he knew its true value: leverage. Deacon didn't just collect money. He collected souls, and he wrote every name down. "A kill list?" "No." Zaya smirked, a dangerous, brittle laugh catching in her throat. "A control list. And now, the third ward just got a new king, whether he wants the crown or not." She tossed the journal to Malik. It smacked against his chest, hard, weighted with the fate of every politician, judge, and pastor Deacon owned. The game had changed. Zaya hadn't just survived the night, she detonated a time bomb under the city. And she was standing right in the blast radius. The true psychological thriller had just begun. Malik looked from the journal in his hand, the names and dates meticulously inked across fragile, yellowing paper. To Zaya, she was mesmerizing, terrifyingly beautiful in the glow of the distant street lamp, her eyes flashing with a mix of trauma and exhilaration. "This ain't for us, Zay," Malik insisted, his voice hushed, but firm. "This is a whole new level of fire. We burn this book, we walk away, and we thank God we got out with just the cuffs on your wrist." "Burn it?" Zaya laughed, a harsh, dry sound. "This book is the only way out of Sunnyside, out of this whole damn third ward cycle. Deacon put a collar on me, tried to use me as a political plaything, told me I had to service his entire list of contacts if I wanted to see my little sister graduate from Yates High debt-free. You want me to burn the receipt? This is proof, Malik. This is my insurance policy." Malik understood. He was the one who drove her to these liaisons, sitting 2 blocks away in the idling sedan, listening to slow jazz and trying not to imagine the details she would never tell him. He hated Deacon for what he forced Zaya to do, and he hated himself more for enabling it. "And you think you can play chess with these monsters, Zaya? They don't just move pieces, they blow up the whole board. You killed Deacon. That's one check. But the other players are still out there. They know he's gone. They know someone took his ledger, and they're going to come looking for the person who killed their most profitable secret keeper. Zaya stepped closer, her breath smelling faintly of cheap vodka and copper. She took his face in her hands, then let them look. We've been running all our lives, Malik. Running from the bills, running from the police, running from our past. It's time we turned around and made them run for once. She lowered her voice, the gritty sexuality of the night giving way to a desperate, tender intimacy. The only person I'll ever run from is you. And you're still here, baby. You're still here. Her eyes, usually hard and impenetrable, held a terror that refused to fall, reflecting the faint red tail light of a passing truck. It was a moment of profound, shared vulnerability, the raw connection between two people who know they are each other's only remaining anchor in a violent, chaotic world. Malik looked at the journal, then at Zaya, then back at the lifeless figure of Deacon. The anger, the understanding, and the fear collided in a single, gut-wrenching decision. He tucked the journal deep into the inner pocket of his jacket, the weight of the city now pressing against his ribs. Fine, we play. But we play by my rules from now on. We don't talk about this outside these 2 blocks. And we get off this ground before the sun fully rises, or we both become folklore in the 3rd Ward. He grabbed her hand, not gently, but with the desperate strength of a man pulling his beloved from a rip current. They turned their backs on the dark secret festering behind the barbershop, Malik leading them west toward Emancipation Park. Stepping out of the gloom and into the harsh reality of their new life as the city's most wanted couple.